Hello, and welcome to episode 165 of the Nintendo Fun Club podcast. This is a podcast about Nintendo and about two old dudes talking at you about Nintendo. It's
What's up?
very fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. I mean, we love fun here at Nintendo Fun Club. Ryan, hi.
Yeah. Hi.
What's
How
up?
are you, John? I'm
I'm good.
Ryan.
Yeah, I'm John though. So hey, Ryan.
Cool.
Yeah,
Surf's up.
dude. It's nice to see you at night for once. I usually only
I
see
know.
you at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So this is like old school Nintendo Fun Club right here. We've done like a year
Yeah.
straight of recording over pancakes, and now we're recording over pizza.
Yeah, basically. Just some inside baseball, some behind the scenes. We typically record at 5:30 a.m. my time. um,
How embarrassing is that to admit that that's when we record?
I'm not like embarrassed,
Well,
really.
it's just
It
weird.
just is. But right now we are at a cool 9 p.m. Mountain
Yeah.
Time on a Saturday night
Yeah.
recording this episode.
Edgy. It's an edgy recording time. Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely gonna be some a degree of edgelordness to this episode. Um, and I think a perfect place to start would be Mega Man X.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Capcom is re-releasing Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X on cartridge.
Mm.
Which, this is kind of in our wheelhouse. Like, it's kind of the sort of thing that we would have opinions on. So I included it here.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about these cartridge re-releases?
I mean, conceptually, I like them. I'm not going to spend $100 on either of the cartridges, but like, I think it's a cool idea. And I'm sure they're like, what are they producing? Like a couple thousand of them, 5,000 of them. I'm sure there's 5,000 people or whatever that'll spend like $100 on that, on either of those games or both of those games. But
8,500
for each game.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But like, well, whatever. I mean, I'm sure there's that many people that will probably spend $100 on either or both of those games. But I can't see myself spending $100 on like a Mega Man game that I can get in a collection on Switch for like a total of what, like $40 each, for like all the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I probably won't do that. And if I was going to spend that kind of money, I think I'd rather just have the original cartridge release.
Yeah.
Which Mega Man 2, I don't know about Mega Man X, but probably Mega Man 2, I would think I could get for less. Well, okay, first off, I have Mega Man 2, but if I didn't have it on NES, I would think I could probably get it for less than $100, right?
Not for a complete copy.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, okay.
I would say, like, from my experience, like, I haven't really looked at either of these games online for complete copies, like, in 2018, but my experience seeing them in, like, retro game stores and stuff, this is about what they cost.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
and there's
around
got to be like,
$100.
and I'm sure plenty of people are like completist type people who have either of these games on cartridge, but then like would like to have the re-release also, different color because they're blue carts, right? And just, yeah, I mean, it's a cool collector's item, and it's a cool, even like beyond collectors, it's just like a cool item to have, if you want a copy of either of those games to play on original hardware. But yeah, I can't see myself. But if it was $50 for either of these games, which I think would probably still be super profitable for them, if it was $50, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'd probably buy either or both of those games. But $100 is like, I don't know. You're a third of the way to buying a Nintendo Switch at that point. It just seems kind of crazy to spend on one game. But
Yeah, like I love that this is happening and I love the treatment these games are getting because, the I am 8-bit also did this collaboration with Capcom for Street Fighter 2 on SNES, and they also sold that cartridge for $100.
Mm-hmm.
I love that this is happening. I want to see like reprints of cartridges. I want this to happen. $100 is ridiculous. It just is. Like, I mean, these are both really great games, and I mean, there's an argument to be made that they are worth $100 for a complete copy, but it's also ridiculous at the same time.
Yeah, to me it seems like okay, well, to print a Blu-ray costs like $1.50 in manufacturing like cost or whatever, and to print a cartridge for the NES costs $10 in manufacturing, cost or whatever. Like, but the game is already made; it already exists. Like, all you're doing at this point, is marketing and production, and like, there's no way that necessitates a $100 price. And I get it, it's like capitalism, whatever. It's them saying, how much can we charge for this and still sell them all and make money, like whatever, like I guess that's cool, but it just, yeah, it just is too much to me. And they could sell this for half as much. They could sell it for $50 and still make a healthy profit. I'm positive they could, so that's the part where it's a little bit of like I don't know. It's being presented to me almost as like a boutique thing that's only for people who are willing to just, spend an absorbent amount of money just to be able to say, like, I bought this rare thing. So, and that's fine. Like, I have no problem with that market existing and, people doing that or companies providing that service. But like, that's just kind of like not a thing that I am going to get excited about myself, Like, I would rather take that $100 and buy 2 new games, or buy one new game and buy the Mega Man collection or the Mega Man X collection and have all those games. You know what I mean? Instead of like spend $100 on one game that I already own and could play like a number of different ways, just so I can be like, look at the blue thing that I have. It just seems like too much money.
Yeah, and especially considering like other publishers have released games on these formats for much cheaper prices, like the Retrobit Jalico collections and all of these other, I mean, like, it's ridiculous the amount of like SNES cartridges that are being produced right now.
Yeah.
And like, none of them are at this price.
Yeah, and I promise you they are not selling the numbers that like Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X will sell in these reproduction runs. So it's like, if they can make a profit on a smaller print run, you know what I mean? Then like, why does this need to cost this much besides just we think we can sell it for that much and still make money? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it. I'm just not gonna buy it. Yeah.
No, I'm not either. Like, I am 8-bit a lot. I like Capcom a lot. Maybe it's just a thing that's not for me.
Right.
Like,
right.
And that's what it is. But it's kind of a bummer because like, I feel like a Mega Man cartridge reprint is like kind of exactly for me.
Yeah.
But somehow it's like very inaccessible, and that's just the way it is. Because I spend a stupid amount of money on old video games on like a month-to-month basis. This is too much. Like,
yeah.
I can't, like, in good conscience do this.
Well,
So
and this is kind of like an artificial price versus like a a more authentic price. You know, like if you go to your used game store and you buy a copy of like, I don't know, Chrono Trigger or whatever, and it's really expensive, it's not because like like Square decided like we'll just charge like way more than is necessary for this game. It's just because like at this point in history, you know, there's only so many copies and there's so much demand, and so it's like that's what it costs. But in this case, you know, they could make a bunch of these and sell them for way less money. They're just choosing not to. So that's kind of where, you know, it's like artificial, you know, artificial pricing, it feels like. But again, I mean, I'm not even mad about it. You know, if I'm Capcom and I own the rights to Mega Man 2 and I think I can get X amount of people to pay $100 for a reproduction of Mega Man 2 and make a bunch of money off of it, I mean, like, I guess go for it, you know, like there's nothing wrong with that really. It's just like, you know, you have to accept, I guess, if you're Capcom or whoever, like that at a certain demographic is going to say no thanks on that, you know. I'm not going to spend that much on it, but you know, I'm sure they've done the market research to know that there's enough people who will, that it's worth it for them to do it that way. So
yeah, and I don't think there's like anything evil about like how Capcom is handling this, because it's not like they're holding Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X hostage where you can only play these games if you spend $100.
Yeah,
because like you can get Mega Man 2 on your 3DS for $5.
right.
Or you can get an SNES Classic and get Mega Man X on there for
and they're putting the
$80.
and they're putting the collections out on Switch. So
and
yeah, they're not keeping it away from people. Yeah, good point.
It is for like, you know, just a certain demographic, which I guess we are not.
No.
So something I definitely am the demographic for, however, is Gunbird 2. And this news is coming from our friend at JapaneseNintendo.com. And Gunbird 2 is coming to Switch. This is one of the best 2D vertical shooters ever. I fell in love with this game when I originally played it on the Dreamcast, and that version is insanely expensive due to the, I guess, concepts of capitalism you were just discussing, John. But now it's going to be coming to Switch in the month of May, and it will most likely be $7.99, and it is one of legit the best shooters out there. And I love this game so much, and I'm so excited to get it at a really cheap price on Switch, and to be able to play it in Tate mode on my weird Hori stand with my arcade stick. It is going to be glorious. So excited about this.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, you've been singing the praises of Gunbird 1, right? On yeah. So truthfully, had you not been talking about that game on Arcade Archives on Switch?
Well, it's not Arcade Archives. It's just this is like something totally separate. It's Zero Dev, and they are just releasing these Psycho games just piecemeal.
Well, anyway,
on the Switch, and they're exclusively on Switch, which is
unlike Arcade Archives, which are also on like PS4 and gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I guess I was just saying that, like, had you not been singing the praises of the first Gunbird, I would probably, truthfully, not even know what this is. So I guess it's cool that like this is a continued, kind of push to get these games out on Switch. And I didn't pick up the first Gunbird, but like I'm at least aware of these games and kind of know about the reputation surrounding them now, because they've kind of, I mean, I don't know if like a second life is the right way to put it, but I feel like there's been a bunch of like a buzz around these games on Switch that had not been there previously necessarily. So it's cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I do want to reiterate, it's not just me who loves these psycho shooters.
Right,
Um,
yeah.
check out the Nintendo Life reviews of these games, which go way more in depth than like I've gone on this podcast. But man, Psycho is a heck of a developer, and these games are so good. So, with that said, now it's time to talk about not just one of the best psycho shooters ever made, but one of the best shooters ever made, one of the best video games ever made is coming to Switch.
Ooh.
And that is
Is it a treasure
Ikaruga.
game?
It is a
It
treasure
is a
game.
treasure game? Oh my
It is a
gosh.
treasure game.
Okay.
Um, you know, and I'm going to quote IGN here.
Ooh.
Our frothing demand for this game increases. That is the IGN quote on the GameCube version of Ikaruga, which is now prohibitively expensive to buy. Good luck, Chuck, if you are trying to get a copy of this game on GameCube. Ikaruga, it's a treasure game. It's a shooter. It is amazing. And it is coming to Switch. Have you ever played this game, John?
No, God, no. No, I've never played Ikaruga.
Oh my God. Okay, so Ikaruga is it is a vertical shooter that deals in I guess polarity. You can swap with your ship, you can swap back and forth between two colors. And each color absorbs a certain type of bullets. So it's a bullet hell game, and you have like these just like curtains of bullets coming at you, but instead of trying to like dodge them, you're strategically switching your ship to be prepared for them and absorbing them. And like there's nothing else like it. There have been like a handful of indie games that have tried to like replicate the flow and rhythm of it. In my opinion, none of them have been successful. Like there's nothing else like it. It also has some of like the best music and just general aesthetic that you've ever seen in a shooter. And oh my God, I love this game so much. I imported it back in the day on Dreamcast. I bought the Xbox 360 port of it and played it a ton. Never was actually able to track down a GameCube version of it, but I'm sure that's awesome as well. But it's gonna be so good on Switch. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, I feel like this is a game I just probably have to get right away when it comes out on Switch, just because I've never played it. And you know, even without having played it, as soon as I heard Ikaruga Switch, you know, it was like, ooh, this is a big deal. So I guess it's time for me to correct that scenario and actually pick it up.
Yeah, and I mean it really really is like it's not just like some like hipster weeaboo thing that like, oh, this is like super rare, so it's like super good.
Yeah, like some
No,
of those Neo Geo fighting games, you tell me to like get like not like that.
no.
Oh, I tricked you there,
Wait a
didn't I?
second.
I got you tied up. Okay.
Last Play 2 is legit. We will have this conversation another time. But no, like this game, it's just mechanically, it's amazing, and it's I don't know, like maybe this will be the time that it's appreciated. It's I don't know. I God, it's so good. It's so immersive and intense and wonderful. Um, and it's gonna be $15, which
Mhm.
is insane because there's like, I mean, I guess outside of like the Xbox 360 port, um, there's like no way to get this game for $15 legally these days, because it's so expensive and so rare on like
Yeah.
every platform, that it was like properly released on. But it's also going to have tate mode, so another reason to get that $12 Hori stand and start rocking tate mode on your Switch.
Well, I will grab this day one, for sure.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Um, it just seems like one of those situations where the Switch is the right platform for a bunch of people to play this game that, you know, maybe
Hmm.
because it's like a cult classic, right? Like people talk about it, everybody knows about it, whatever. But like, I feel like it's a
Hmm.
game that, you know, I don't think I'm unique in having not played this, you know. So I'm sure there's
No,
a lot of people
totally.
that have, yeah. But Switch, right, at least right now, seems like the kind of platform where, you know, a game that didn't receive the love it deserved in the past, you know, Switch is the right place to put it, to place it where it might get that attention that it deserves. So I don't think it's a stretch to suggest that this could at least possibly be the most popular version of Ikaruga. That, you know, more people will play it on Switch than have ever played it before. So that's cool if it's as good as you say it is, Ryan.
Which it is. It's
Okay.
better. It's
Oh wow.
better than I say it is,
Okay, but you know what I'm
honestly.
saying, right? Like Switch is
Yeah.
so hot right now, and like obscure games seem to like find an audience on Switch where they never did in the past. So
Hmm.
I feel like this could be, you know, pretty big. Like it can make a splash on the Switch, and you know, could maybe find an audience like a sizable audience that it never was able to find before.
Yeah, I think so. I think there is like a huge chunk of Switch owners who are into like, you know, just like old school arcade style games. You know, looking at like the statements from SNK and stuff about how well the arcade archives are doing on Switch, and all of that, like, and the fact that like those all those psycho shooters are releasing on Switch, and you know, obviously they're doing well because they keep releasing more of them and they're not on any other platform. So I think there is an audience for this, and it's almost like once this game releases on May 29th, like what happens next, because this is like the peak, the pinnacle
Yeah.
of like this style of game. Like, where do we go from there? So I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. I want to go into the bestsellers section of the
eShop.
eShop and see this up there. Like, that will that will be awesome.
Hmm.
But we'll see how it shakes out.
Is Treasure involved in the re-release at all? Because they're the developer, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, they had tweeted like a couple weeks ago. They're like they had tweeted, like obviously from their Japanese account in Japanese, they're like, we got Ikaruga running on Switch. Oh, hey, we got it running in Tate mode.
Well, because
Cool.
haven't they been a little like under the radar lately in terms of what they're
Yeah.
doing and stuff? So that's why I ask.
Yeah. Yeah, they've had a very unfortunate, I guess, past like decade. I'd say, like, which sucks because
They've had a rough existence.
I mean, they've always been, clawing up. But the past decade or so has not been great to them, which is a shame because they're one of my favorite developers of all time. So
yeah.
I mean, if this does well and it does well for them, like that could open up a ton of possibilities.
Well, I was just asking because it's like sometimes it's like, are they still like, is Treasure still a thing? Are they still making games? Like, what's going on with them? So, the fact that they're even just tweeting about this re-release is good. Good news.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they still exist in some form. Like there's people there that are working on stuff. Like that's good.
Yeah. Nicholas is publishing it, so I don't know. I don't really have strong feelings one way or another about them as a publisher, but I'm glad that it's happening. I'm extremely glad that it's happening.
Is there a physical version announced? Because Nicholas does good physical versions of Switch games if they do the physical version,
They do. We'll see if it happens. I mean, this is something
probably do the standard Switch thing, which is like release digitally first, and then a couple months later say like, oh, by the way, you can double dip on this game if you want to.
For $25 more.
Because a lot of people will do that, including me.
I will do that on this game, happily.
Yeah,
for sure. So
it's just like back there on that shelf, I've got like Switch games stacked up, and it's when somebody calls and says you could put another piece of plastic on that stack, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of want to do that, so that's the danger.
Those are great cases.
Like I kind of want to buy Sonic Mania physically, even though I own it, but we'll see.
I already have I have that pre-ordered.
Oh, okay. Well, plus didn't you buy the absurd edition of the game initially, like on another platform? Don't you already own Sonic Mania physically on another platform with a statue?
I have the ridiculous special edition.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
On
like,
Switch.
Makes a Sega noise when you turn it on or something.
Yep.
But that came with a card, not a cart. Like a card.
It was
like a paper card with a code on it. Yeah.
I pre-ordered it for PS4.
Ooh, controversial.
Just to have it, I mean, because oh god, this is the worst part. So like I'm buying it on PS4 to have like the Mania Plus, whatever, and then I'm just going to pay the digital.
It's only $5.
The $5 to like upgrade it on Switch, which is probably where I'm gonna play most of the game. It just seemed weird to buy
having the PS4 version.
What's up?
What's the benefit of having the PS4 version?
Just having it on a different platform.
Yeah.
I mean, having it in a different room. I guess like
you can take your Switch to any room you go to, man.
Yeah, that's true, but it feels so weird to buy a game physically twice on one platform. As like considering I bought this like ridiculous, ginormous special edition on Switch already.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever. But Sonic Mania rules and should support it on like every platform. I also have the vinyl soundtrack.
That's like more valuable, like in a tangible way. Like it's more like actually valuable than the weird special edition you bought. But I haven't watched any of the Sonic Mania YouTube shorts, and I think those are up now, aren't they? Yeah, I haven't
There's
watched
two
them.
of them up now. Yeah,
And they're good, right?
they're so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Well, get on that. They're free.
Yeah, they're free. Yeah.
Check them out.
Okay.
So Nintendo announced their plans for E3,
Mm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we said they were going to do on this podcast.
Okay, so what is that? A video in the morning that Tuesday, right?
Wait. Before that,
Whoa.
June 11th
Ugh.
are the Splatoon 2 World Championships. So,
Will you be competing there with Ink 182?
no. Inc. 182 will not be competing. We did not make it to the championships.
Okay.
We won our first round.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
And then we got slaughtered our second round. It was embarrassing. It was so bad. We just got like properly brutalized. So yeah, we will not be competing, but yeah, so there's opening rounds on June 11th, and then the finals will be on June 12th. Also on June 12th is the Nintendo video presentation, where you will get a look at Nintendo Switch titles for 2018, including the recently announced Super Smash Bros. Game. So that's going to be happening at 9 a.m. Pacific time on June 12th.
Do you have that day off of work, Ryan? Or are you working
June 12th? No, I am still at work.
Oh man, that sucks.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still working. So I'll
we'll be recording Nintendo Fun Club Tuesday afternoon / early evening.
It's my last week of work for the year, so
you have to be there.
Yeah, I have to be there, but it will also be like very chill.
Okay.
So yeah, the NFC hot takes will be happening in the afternoon and evening of those days.
Right.
And then 3 days of Nintendo Treehouse Live.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. I mean, I will be watching those as soon as I get home from work every day. Hanging out and checking those out. Always a fun time. Treehouse Live is just the best.
Yeah. I mean, like their presentation and Treehouse Live and everything that will entail, and the Splatoon tournament and the Smash Brothers tournament. I mean, it's gonna be pretty good. It's a full schedule from Nintendo for sure.
Yeah, and the Super Smash Brothers Invitational starts right after the conclusion of the Splatoon 2 World Championship Finals on June 12th. So that will also be happening on the day that the video presentation happens. So we'll get to see a ton of Smash Brothers footage for sure.
Yeah.
Which is a game that's coming out in 2018, which is so weird.
Yeah. And I mean, that's cool to know. We're going to see a bunch of Smash Brothers and, hopefully a little Metroid Prime 4 and, maybe definitely some surprises as well. So
are we doing E3 predictions right now?
No, we're not doing them now.
We're
going to do them on an upcoming episode, though.
Okay, it feels a little soon. I'm not ready.
Hey, I'm not predicting Wave Race is going to be there right now. I'm not here talking about how I think Wave Race is going to be announced
Okay.
at E3 2018. Because it's
Yeah.
too soon to do that.
It's
I'm going to
too
do that in a
soon
couple weeks.
for me to talk about the next 1080 game.
You know, the wave race is it's wave race.
Whew.
Here's the good thing about it.
Okay.
If one of us is wrong, both of us still get to be really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I'm wrong about wave race, you're still happy, and I'm still happy because we get 1080. If you're wrong about 1080, we're both still happy because we both get wave race. The only way we're not happy is if both of us are wrong. And even then, we're probably still happy because we get like a monkey target game or something. You
We
know what I
get
mean? Like
pilot wings.
yeah.
If
we'll
we're
be
both
fine.
wrong, we get pilot wings.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Hopefully, it's not like Pilot Wings Resort though, because that kind of sucked.
It was all right.
I mean, it was
hate
fun,
that
but,
game.
like-
I hate that game.
Yeah, but what would you rather play right now? Like Pilot Wings Super NES, Pilot Wings N64, or the 3DS one?
Maybe controversial opinion. Pilot Wings 64.
Okay, yeah. Well, the point is not the 3DS one. You know, not Resort.
the 3DS one.
No,
Yeah,
not Resort. No.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what if it's Excite Tank?
Excite Tank.
Yeah.
I'll go for it. Hey, my kids were playing Tank 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 on the Wii U tonight.
What?
Like, ooh, that's fun.
What?
I remember that. Yeah, they were.
Oh my god, Tank 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 lives.
Yeah, that game is awesome.
It's so good.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Huh.
Yeah. So
Right.
I mean, Excite Tank while I play it. Sure, let's do it.
Oh
But
yeah. Big
would I
time.
rather have Excite Truck? Yes. You know, but we'll see.
For sure. All right. Anything else you wanted to add in news?
Well, I don't have much to say about it, but there's a newly announced president of Nintendo, which I feel like is kind of a big deal, you know, because
It's a huge deal.
yeah, but it wasn't on our show notes, and we haven't talked about it on this show, Nintendo Fun Club. So I felt
because
we
I
should
don't
at
know
least
what to say about
acknowledge-
it.
Yeah,
'Cause I
that's
don't
fine.
know who this guy is.
right. But I mean, we should at least acknowledge, you know, like Shintaro Furukawa. Is that his name? Shintaro.
I don't know. It's not in
Shintaro
the notes.
Furukawa. Well, okay, fine. I'll tell you. His name is
Okay, tell me about it.
Shuntaro Furukawa. That's his name. And he's been at Nintendo for a while. He's in his 40s. He's younger than Kimishima. And, you know, he is the announced new president who's going to take over this summer, I think. And, like, I don't know. Obviously, Iwata, we were very attached to. Kimishima, we hardly knew you. You know, I don't know. He came in, he took over.
Whoa.
Yeah. I never tweeted it,
But
but I said it out loud on the show.
okay.
Kimishima, I mean, we didn't know. He's been here for a year or two, you know. He's
He was
worn
there
his
for
suit.
For the Switch launch, that's
He
pretty
was.
good.
Although it's going to be very interesting, like from a historical perspective, to go back and look at like the history of all that and how it all happened and everything, and sort of say like how much involvement did Iwata have in the Switch development and the plan for the Switch, and like how much credit should Iwata receive for that? You know, among obviously many other people at Nintendo, but like. Yeah, I mean, yes, the Switch, which is super, super popular, did launch under Kimishima. So, you know, that's true. But like, was it his idea? Did he greenlight it? You know, what was his involvement in the development process versus like Iwata, who for sure knew about the Switch, approved the Switch, was involved in the Switch, I think, at least in preliminary stages. So, but anyway. You know, it's like the DS, was it the DS or the 3DS? I think the DS, right? God, who was it that was there at the time? It was it the former president? Arakawa? Well, anyway, yeah, I know that like it's not always like a super clear like whoever is president at the time, that's who deserves the credit. You know what I mean? So Kimishima was president when Switch released, but like, is he the one who we should say like, oh my God, thank God he had this idea, or thank God, it was his leadership that like ushered in that Switch era, or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's a new president of Nintendo, Ryan, and we do this like Nintendo podcast. So I just thought we should acknowledge, Shuntaro Furukawa is the upcoming, like, will be the new president of Nintendo. So one of the things I read about him, like comment from Kimishima, is that he understands the quote unquote Nintendo point of view. So I hope that's true. And, I've been very happy with the leadership of Nintendo the last, well, I guess my whole life, but like the last, 5, 6, 7 years since we've been doing the show. Iwata was obviously brilliant, and Kimishima's certainly not screwed anything up. I mean, he's done a good job, and things are better now than they were when he took over, so pretty happy with Nintendo leadership as of late. And hopefully that continues under Furukawa.
Yeah. I mean, the things that I know about him are, he grew up playing the Famicom. So he has a lot of love and nostalgia for, that system and that era of Nintendo, which, is cool for like old dudes like us. And also like, but at the same time, he also seems to feel like Nintendo could be doing more in the mobile space.
Yeah, there was that comment, wasn't there? What's transitioning it to like a $950 million a year business or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just like a really interesting dichotomy to for someone to be like heading the company, having that like those roots in the old stuff, and the Nintendo that like we grew up on and we love, but also realizing there's they could be doing more in like the mass market and the modern platforms. It's like, I mean, if he is able to kind of reconcile that, making the making the games for us on Switch, but also making the games for the mass market on mobile and having them both be profitable. I think that's the goal. That's the dream.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it's way too early to even tell. Like we haven't. I mean, it will probably even be like a year or two before we even see like what his specific moves are for the company, because everything that's happening now has already been in place for a while.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Like it's hard to even say because how long has Kimishima been? Like a year and a half, 2 years. He's been running the show. And like even like things that are happening recently with Nintendo, I'm like, is that a Kimishima thing, or is that something that Iwata got the ball rolling on before Kimishima? You know what I mean? I don't even know if like did Kimishima just make sure like things were stable financially and like kept like the business side of things going like this whole time, and like, or was he involved in like serious decision making in terms of like the products and stuff? I don't know. I mean, I guess he probably was, but part of me feels like all the success we're seeing with the Switch and like the whole plan and everything with the Switch was like something that maybe was like already kind of happening under Iwata's watch, In which case it'll be really interesting. It's like 2 years from now with, Furukawa. It's like, well, should we give credit to Kimishima for this, or is this something that like he really got going himself? And like for instance, with mobile, we know that Mario Kart Tour is on the way, and we know there's a Zelda mobile game on the way. So when those come out, like let's just say they come out and they're really popular, are we going to say, "Oh my God, Furukawa, he's a genius. Look what he did with Nintendo Mobile"? Or are we going to say like freaking Iwata had that going 2 years ago? I don't know. Obviously, like it's not really in Nintendo's interest to make us keenly aware of how that stuff all works out. So we just kind of guess, and hopefully, I think their perspective on it is like we should just enjoy the games, and if the games are good, then who cares who is like the leadership at that point or whatever. And obviously, there's Miyamoto is still there, and who's the
Tezuka?
Tezuka. Mm-hmm. And other people like other people too.
Yeah, I mean everyone's still there. Like no one leaves.
Right. So it's I guess it's kind of a thing where it's like it's a big deal that that Kimishima is leaving and Furukawa is taking over. But then on the other hand, it's like, does that really change the culture? Is the culture sort of dominated like from the top down, or is it sort of a thing where Nintendo is Nintendo and there's brilliant people there and they work there under Arakawa and they work there under Yamauchi and they work there under Iwata and, Kimishima, and now they'll work there under Furukawa. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we will see how it shakes out and if we get a Waveverse game anytime soon.
You're right.
That will be the determining factor.
Yeah, like if it gets announced in a couple weeks. Yeah.
That would be cool. Mm-hmm. So, cool. I guess that is it for news. Let's talk about some games we've been playing. What have you been playing, John?
Well, I played Splatoon 2 today, just because I really wanted to get in there and vote for Leonardo.
Right on.
Yeah. Did you play tonight, Ryan? Did you play Splatoon 2 tonight?
Yeah. I played some solo tonight, but we were supposed to have a team game, an Inc. 182 game, but not everyone was able to make it. So we weren't able to play.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's been fun to do the Splatfest. I only got to play for about a half an hour today, but I'm a Leo fiend at this point. Mm-hmm. I'm not a Leo fangirl. I'm a Leo fiend.
Nice.
I started out as a fangirl. Mm-hmm. But Splatfest is cool. It's Splatoon. But it's fun to know what you're fighting for, so to speak. So yeah, I did that a little bit, and Splatoon is Splatoon. I mean, there's a couple new stages and some new weapons and stuff, but I think honestly, I'm just playing with the same loadout I was a month or two ago. So it didn't really alter my experience too much. It's always fun to play during the Splatfest though, and see the fireworks and, play certain stages at nighttime and stuff like that. So yeah. But otherwise, besides Splatoon, I've done a little bit of Labo as well, Nintendo Labo. Yeah. I picked up the Variety Kit, and I thought I would have gotten through more of it than I have at this point. But I've realized that Labo, at least for me, is going to be something I kind of play over the course of a few months, probably, because some of the more significant devices, or whatever you want to call them, in Labo take like a long time to build.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it started out and I built a Joy-Con holder or two Joy-Con holders and the RC cars. And those were like all really easy to build. And I was like, this is cool. And then the next thing I built was the motorcycle handlebars. And it was like, oh, well, that took 2 hours to build. It's funny because it says in there like, oh yeah, it's going to take 1.5 to 2.5 hours, I think, or something like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, of course, sure, yeah, right. I'll be done in 20 minutes, but it really did. It took me pretty much as long as I said it would. So that's surprising, but it's cool because like a lot of the fun in Labo, at least so far, is in the building process and kind of seeing how things work and just putting that effort into it, and then like having the device when you're done and being able to control it or play with it or whatever is cool. And you know, there's like 3 different sets of courses for the motorcycle, and they increase in difficulty, and you can create your own custom tracks and stuff. So there's a lot to do there. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was like, okay, well, you know, a lot of the fun in this is like, it's like Lego or something, you know, like you build a Lego Millennium Falcon, and I mean, you could play with it a little bit too, but like for the most part, the point of it was building it, you know. And I feel like that is kind of the case a little bit with Labo too. It's like, it takes a long time to build some of this stuff, and you know, it's useful. You can do things with it, and so you could keep it around and continue to do things with it. But it kind of seems like the point once you've built stuff is to kind of pack it up and you know, keep it in good shape. And you know, like especially if you're doing like the garage sale thing, like today in Rockford we had a bunch of garage sales, and you know, people were like, you know, building stuff or not building stuff, but like putting stuff out, selling stuff, like whatever. Like, yeah, it's just.
Wait, what does Labo have to do with garage sales?
Labo and garage sales. Yeah, it was a busy weekend. It was a busy weekend this weekend. It's like, okay, I've got garage sales, I've got a bunch of stuff to do. I don't really have the time to.
I thought there was going to be like some really deep connection
I feel like Jay-Z in the Unplugged album when he's like, whoa, man, I got lost, you know, on Song Cry at the end of Song Cry in the Unplugged album. I got lost there, man. No, but like it's busy. Like I've had a busy weekend. We got garage sales, we got all this stuff going on. It's like I really have like time to build this thing, and like the fun is in building it.
But there's garage sales. How can you Labo? There's garage sales,
dude. It's like the struggle is real though, because like
yeah,
the fun is in building the Labo, but then you know, like I want to like spend some time with my motorcycle and try out all these different courses and stuff. But like at the end of the day, like as soon as I get done building this thing, it's like time to go out to the garage sales. You know what I mean?
That's totally. It's 8 a.m.
Dude, it's 8 a.m. I started at 6 a.m. My handlebars are done at 8 a.m. and I have until like 8:15 to like play with the courses.
Sure. Okay, so I haven't built the motorcycle yet. How does the game actually play? Like I'm mostly like I really just want to play the game.
You don't want to build the motorcycle?
I don't want to build the motorcycle. How does the game play? Like, it's not Excite Truck, is it?
No, it's not Excite Truck. It's not Excite Bots. It's not Mario Kart Wii with the wheel control, but I don't know. It in some ways it is, and in some ways it's not, because it's like the core. I mean, I don't know. Like I played the beginner courses. There's beginner, intermediate, and expert courses that you can play when you have the controller. You know, like once you've built your Labo or whatever. And the beginner ones are not too tough. Although, like honestly, it's all about the tactile experience, because you've got like the throttle and the brake and all that stuff. And like, I'm not a big I don't use the brake very much in racing games. And so I don't really use the brake in like this motorcycle game for Labo. Obviously you can, but it's very physical and tactile, like how I'm going to like pull on the throttle to like speed up, and then like, ooh, there's a sharp turn coming up, so I'll like release the throttle sort of thing, you know? And then also it's like gyro controlled, so you're turning physically to like turn and stuff. So, I don't know. I haven't done the harder ones yet, I guess, but and I have not created my own yet, but it's fun. I mean,
Hmm.
it's fun, but like it's like if you bought that game without the experience of building the controller you use to play the game, I feel like obviously it kind of sucks isn't the right word, but like it's like okay, there's not much to this. It's pretty empty. Like, you know, it's like this quick thing that you would not want to have spent money on. But coupled with the experience of like creating and building the controller to play it with, like then it seems a lot more, you know what I mean? Like it seems
Yeah,
like much more fun. And granted, I mean, I paid what did I pay? Like $60 for the whole variety kit. So
70.
Best Buy,
Oh yeah, so
58.
yeah,
Yeah. But anyway,
not
my
bad.
point, or 56, I don't know. But my point is like, I spent X amount of dollars to buy this variety kit, but like, I don't know. The, uh, you divide that up between how many like different Labo kits or whatever are in that variety kit, plus then divide it again based on like, okay, like let's say the like I can't remember, are there 5 or 6 different things you make from the variety kit? Let's say 5, right?
Hmm.
So 60 some dollars divided by 5, it's like a little over $10 per like game within the variety kit. And then you kind of have to split it again because it's like part of the experience is building the device
Hmm.
and then the other part is playing the game. So like, is this like motorcycle driving game worth like $5 to $10? Yeah, I would say so. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it's not worth much more than that. You know what I mean? It's certainly not like a full fledged game. It's just kind
Yeah,
of like, well, it's fun. It's cool. I'll play it a few more times. I'm not going to spend hours and hours and hours playing it, but I think like when you sit down at your table and you have like just like a couple sheets of cardboard, and then an hour and a half or 2 hours later, you have a steering wheel with a switch screen in it, and you're racing around, like that combined experience is worth the $10 to $20 I spent on it. You know,
hmm,
but if you take the software separately and say like, is that game really good? Is it like a really good game that's worth $20? Well, no, probably not. You know, but it's it's like a larger experience than that.
yeah. That totally makes sense.
And yet
I,
it seems like you're not buying it. You know, you're like, I feel like a little bit like I watched your face, Ryan.
mm,
I watched your face the whole time I talked about that, and it kind of seemed like you were thinking like, I don't know, you know.
well, John, let me show you this.
And you made the house?
No.
Oh,
Lindsay made the
Lindsay
house.
made the house. Okay, all right, okay,
Lindsay made the house, and I think it's amazing.
okay.
Like, I think
Are you
it is legitimately, it's insane. Like,
okay?
it's crazy. The like, yeah, kind of like you were saying. I mean, it's not a game you would pay $60 for or whatever for just this game, this like weird Tamagotchi, like hey you Pikachu thing that's happening with the house. But the experience of making it and then making all these like weird knobs that go into like different places in the house and make it do totally different things, like it's crazy. Like it legitimately felt like we launch era magic to me. Like it was that feeling of like, oh, you can do this with a video game. Like, yeah, it's not as deep as Breath of the Wild, but it is like, this is a very cool thing that video games can do,
Right.
kind of experience. So um
But like you can't segregate or you can't like separate the experience of like creating the cardboard from using the software because like it's so connected. I feel like, you know.
yeah, and I mean, I like, to be honest, after building the RC car, like I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, especially using the RC car and the IR camera in it, running that around our apartment and um, seeing how fascinated our cats were with it and seeing them like sticking their faces in it. Like it was legitimately hilarious and super fun. But it's also like nothing really. Like it's playing with a remote control car. Like
Yeah.
there's no like game to it really. There's no progression, there's no challenge or anything. It just is, which is fine. It's still fun. But like it's a toy at that point. But um so I enjoyed like the building aspect of that, but the idea of a building project taking 2+ hours was not super appealing to me. So I really stalled and hesitated uh, on it for a while, and eventually Lindsay was just like, I'm gonna build this. And I was like, cool, go for it. Um, and she did. And then it turned out to be really, really incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with the remote controlled cars, I remember specifically thinking like, as soon as I built them and played with them a little bit, I was like, yeah, well, yeah, I don't necessarily need to ever play with this again. You know, it's cool to see how to build the shell, and it's cool to like realize that the vibration of the Joy-Con is moving the RC car around. And, you know, it suggested like making an obstacle course, and we did make an obstacle course, and that was fun. But like, once I've done that once, it's like, do I really need or want to do that again? Probably not, you know. But then again, like that one, I feel like it took so little time to make that like the amount of time it took to make that Labo corresponds with like how much enjoyment I'm going to get out of like the actual, you know, experience of using it, you know. Whereas like with the motorcycle handlebars or whatever you want to call it, the motorcycle, I think I'm going to get like considerably more enjoyment out of using the software and the Labo I built. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess we will continue to make Labo. And
Yeah. Yeah, it's just funny because I figured I would have all of the Labo built like the weekend I got the Labo, you know. But like once I got it and started using it, I was like, yeah, this is probably better if you do it over the course of at least a few weeks, if not more.
yeah.
It's probably better to do it that way than to be like, I have to rush through all, you know, 8 hours of building this stuff. Like, you know, why do that when you could just like, you know, build one or two of the items and then say, well, I'll come back to this next time I feel like it. You know, I feel like it'll be a better experience playing it that way than it would be to be like, I've got to get all of the Labo built all at once. So
Yeah. So neither of us have used the fishing rod or the piano.
right. Yep.
Well, maybe maybe that's a conversation for another day.
Could be.
Could be. All right. So a conversation for right now is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Nintendo Switch Special Funky Edition. Yeah. I bought the heck out of this game.
An accident, right?
Yeah, it was a total accident. I walked over to Target to get some coffee creamer and other household necessities, and then I was like, "Hey, that Donkey Kong game is out, and it's right there. I might as well just buy it." And I
Yeah.
did.
I mean, You were a lot. Yeah, it wasn't. You were a lot more wrong when you bought the coffee creamer than you were when you bought the Funky Kong. Like,
How so?
because coffee is delicious, and when you weaken it with extraneous flavors, it's not as good as it would be.
Okay,
Whereas,
so let me break this down for you.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a tendency to get a sour stomach. If I consume anything too bitter. And so I drink only light blends of coffee, only breakfast blends of coffee, and I use Silk almond milk creamer to kind of lighten the load.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, my soul is extremely hardcore. My stomach less so. It just can't handle that much. So
okay,
it's a necessity.
Okay. To me, that's weird though, because it's like you're telling your stomach, hey, instead of dealing with this one thing, coffee, deal with two things, coffee and the almond milk, Like, what if you just gave it the coffee instead of the coffee and the almond milk? You know what I mean?
It would be a bit of gut rot.
All right.
Yeah. The creamer is the candy coating that makes it go down easy.
Okay. Spoonful of sugar makes the Funky Kong go from start to finish of the Funky Kong game, right?
I have no idea what you just said.
Okay, you played this game on the Wii U. Donkey Kong Country Returns Tropical Freeze. You played it on the Wii U?
Yeah, I mean, I dabbled in it on the Wii U. I got like 3 or 4 worlds in, and kind of.
But on the Switch, you finished it because you could use the Funky Kong mode.
Yeah, like I finally got to play as a character who was legitimately cool, and that helped me finish the game.
So it wasn't the additional powers that he had or anything. It was the fact that he was cool because he has a bandana and he surfs and stuff. Skates.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it was just it was so empowering for me to play as just like this bodacious monkey.
This bodacious monkey, yeah.
I mean,
the monkey sounds very open-minded and just really cool,
Like I felt like I could do anything, and like I was so empowered that I did anything, and I beat the game in one sitting.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
So do you recommend this game to people who are willing to be in touch with Funky Kong or Donkey Kong?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing you should do when you buy this game for $60 at your local Target is take the insert out and flip it over to its reverse, which is Funky Kong, and put that in, and then you got this really cool thing on your shelf. It's funky like thing. Yeah, it's like you just bought art for your home.
Well, I mean, you literally bought art because
so right there, like it has paid for itself in just like pure aesthetics. And then after that, yeah, you should definitely play this game in funky mode. because Funky can double jump. He can do like a little fluttery glide thing, kind of like a Yoshi game. He can land on spikes, and it's NBD because he has this surfboard, and he lands on them, and he's like, whatever. I just land on some spikes, but I'm on my surfboard, so
Yeah.
like, how are you even gonna hurt me?
Would you say
these?
it's kind of like would you say it's kind of like playing as Maria in Rondo of Blood?
It is extremely like playing as Maria in Rondo of Blood. I actually thought about that
Okay.
as I was playing, because she has those the double jump that Richter doesn't have, which honestly, like, I've played through Rondo of Blood a few times. I think it's one of the best Castlevania games ever made. And I actually go and unlock Maria like first, like as soon as possible.
Yeah,
Just
like
because
in the third stage or whatever it is, like where you have
yeah,
to, yeah.
like, just because I think she's like actually more fun to play. Like, I think just the extra mobility is legitimately just makes it like a more fun game to control, and that's kind of how I feel about Funky Kong, um, because like he's so much more agile with like the double jump and the float and everything, that like it kind of just feels more fun and fluid to play the game. And I mean, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. I There's nothing wrong with being funky, in my opinion.
Okay. So it didn't feel too easy where it was like sleepwalking through it. Like,
No, absolutely not, because you still die when you like fall in pits. You still die from like any of like the insta kills that happen in the game, like the giant snowflakes, or falling in lava, or anything like that. Um, like, the boss battles are still tough, but you also have access to your inventory, um, that you can bust out at any point in the level. So you can be in the middle of like a boss fight and be down to like your last heart, and then just pause and um, hop into like the options menu, and or the inventory menu, and like use one of your like extra hearts, or use an invincibility potion, which you have to buy with like the banana coins or whatever from the shop. But you can pop into that at any time in a level, which um totally not ashamed, I definitely did in one of the boss fights. And it was kind of cool to have that option, because it's the boss fights in the Donkey Kong Country Returns games, I think, are ridiculously long. And this goes back to the Wii game as well. Like, I think they're too long for boss fights. And it sucks when you're like at the last quote unquote stage of the fight and you die, and then you have to do all this tedious stuff again and again and again until you get back to that point. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've paid my dues with these games. Like, I beat the first two games on Super Nintendo. I got to the last stage in the Wii game and just gave up, because it was too tedious. It was too annoying. And so going into this and having the option to make things like less painful, I think it's totally cool. And so I finished the game. I saw the credits roll, whatever. But there is like a ton of stuff I can go back and do, and there's like more secret stages and an entire unlockable world that I can still do. So like it's not like, oh, I finished this game and now it's worthless to me. Like it's definitely something I'm going to go back to um and unlock more in, but it also just felt like way more enjoyable this time around because of just getting funky.
Getting funky. Wow. Yeah. So do you think you will go back and like do some of those things that you were talking about? Like, do you think you
Yeah,
will go back?
for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, like the game is so good. It's so well designed. Um the stages are um like they're weirdly like cinematic in the game. Like everything is so choreographed, and it's almost like you need to be like an amazing speedrunner to like do everything properly. And there's so much detail and love put into every stage, and it also like the game could quite possibly have the best soundtrack on the Switch right now.
David Wise. David
Yeah.
Wise.
Like the music is incredible in this game. Um I was just like consistently blown away, and there's so many there's like so much variety and so many themes. Um like I love the work that David Wise did on the original Donkey Kong Country soundtrack, but like that's also like super limited. It's a lot of like repeated songs, repeated themes, but this game like there's so much variety, and it's like really dynamic, like going from like a theme that you get when walking on the ground, and then you go like underwater and the music like subtly changes, and it's so good. There's throwbacks to like old themes, and it's just really really wonderful. Yeah, this is absolutely a game that I'm going to keep in my collection and revisit, and maybe I'll go back and play through as like Dixie Kong or Cranky or something else at some point. But I had so much fun just playing as Funky and having it um not feel so stiff as these games tend to do. Just feeling that like extra layer of control was really wonderful. So I think that's like a good way to do um, maybe like a preview of the game. Just play through it as Funky, and then if you really want like the um, challenge and that sort of thing, then I guess play in non-funky mode,
Hmm.
which also seems really sad.
To be non-funky.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think being funky is a good thing.
I mean, I can't argue that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a very good game. I mean, like your mileage may vary if depending on how you feel about like the $60 price tag, which I definitely kind of see both sides to that. Um, but I had I feel like I got my money's worth already, and it's something I'll go back to. So, um, I don't know. I think it's pretty great.
Yeah, I texted you and Kevin yesterday probably, and I think I said basically that for sure I want to get it, but I just have to wait till the time's right, you know. And I think this summer I will definitely want to play that game, and it'll be a good time for me to do that. But it's been a little busy around here lately, so I'm not like in a big rush to jump on it and get it right away. But I definitely want to play it. And it seems like one of those really great games on Wii U that, you know, a lot of people probably, but definitely me missed. So I'd like to go back and make up for that and get it and play it again, or not play it again, but play it for the first time.
Yeah, play it again for the first time, which is what I did. Play it again for the funkiest time.
Ooh, yeah.
Funky Kong is great, by the way.
Is that right?
Yeah. Like, legitimately as a character.
Well, if you're going to have multiple Kongs, you want one of them to be funky, I would think, you know?
Yeah.
Just how it should be.
Absolutely. All right. Well, anything else you've been playing?
No, that's mainly it.
Okay, cool. Well, that wraps up this episode. If you want to check out our blog, head over to nintendofunclubpodcast.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Braundwarf, BRAWNDWARF. And what about you, John?
I'm on Twitter at Arcade Ghost. Arcade Ghost.
Arcade Ghost.
I was about to spell it, and I thought, why does anybody need me to spell that?
It's
they get it.
Literally
Arcade Ghost.
The word arcade and the word ghost.
All one word. Yep.
Put them together. Yeah, no underscore or anything.
No, God, no.
Nah. Cool. Well, thanks a ton for tuning in, and we will catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.